now we probably got the most important part, the NFL honors, the yearly awards here in the NFL. So we'll just go through each one and discuss, do we agree, disagree, why? And we'll just start with the biggest. MVP went to the Aaron Rodgers with 44 out of 50 votes. Josh Allen had 4 votes. Patrick Mahomes had 2 votes. I think that's pretty accurate. I mean, I would like to see Josh get more, but Aaron had by far the better year.
I would say even give, your Allen boy more of that share of the whatever 40-some Rodgers had. But I mean, because his completion percentage until this year was not, nothing to talk about. This year he completely turned it around. So I would give Josh Allen. I would say Aaron Rodgers, 30. Josh Allen, 12, 14. Somewhere in there, 10 or 12, and then maybe Mahomes 6 or 8.
Honestly, I wouldn't even have cared if they would have put Henry in there with a couple.
Yeah.
But ultimately, Aaron Rodgers was going to win it. So all the rest of that just made me feel good about myself because Josh Allen got twice as many MVP votes as Patrick Mahomes. That's all I really wanted. Even if it was just 2 more.
I'm just happy that somebody in Green Bay got a trophy.
Yeah. No, that's good. So then we have the Offensive Player of the Year. And the votes for Offensive Player of the Year, which eventually it went to Derrick Henry. Yep. He had 32 of the votes. Aaron Rodgers had 5 of the votes. Patrick Mahomes had 5 of the votes. Travis Kelce had 3 of the votes. Josh Allen had 3 votes. And I don't remember who that one is, but he had 2 votes.
That's a hell of a spread behind Derrick Henry.
Had 2 votes. But yeah, there was a lot one. This one, it was overwhelmingly Derrick Henry, but then the people who didn't agree, they went all over the place.
I mean, I don't see how you get anybody besides Derrick Henry as far as pure Offensive Player of the Year because that man was
2,000 yards.
Yeah, the entirety of that offense.
The only reason I'd make arguments against him is because whenever he fell off the board, he fell off hard. I think against Buffalo, he had a bad game. Green Bay's game, I think he hit 98 or 100 yards, but it wasn't good for him. And then in the playoffs, he fell off against Tampa Bay. Or no, who they played in the playoffs? It was Cleveland? No, I don't remember who it was. Whoever they played, they fell off. The Ravens. They played the Ravens.
Yeah. I mean, but it's easier to fall off at the running back position. If they key in on you, there's a lot less you can do as a running back than if you're a quarterback.
Yeah.
It's easier to fall off. It's easier to be defended against. And that's why it's so impressive that even with those 3 bad games, he still hit 2,000 yards.
I think you got to throw Stephon Diggs in that mix. And I think, honestly, the Kelce votes are very valuable because as a tight end for him, if he would have played the last game, I mean, his numbers versus all the wide receivers in the game were very impressive, man. Travis Kelce was a stud all year. So I'm a Chiefs fan. I like to see Kelce get up a little bit higher in that voting poll. But I wasn't going to believe Stephon Diggs was right there with it.
Yeah, I think Diggs not even having a single vote is pretty insulting considering he led in receptions and yards.
Yeah.
So, but then again, what's his face? Devontae didn't get any either. So
no, he led in receiving touchdowns.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Defensive Player of the Year. It went to Aaron Donald.
Yeah, of course it did.
And he had 27 votes, and this was probably the one that was the craziest. And then T.J. Watt had 20 votes, and Xavier Howard had 3 votes.
Yeah.
And Aaron Donald, I think, should have won that one. And T.J. Watt saying he takes it personally and that this is such a big deal. It really – he was only 7 votes behind. This was the closest one, I think, of anyone we had.
Yeah.
And Aaron Donald is – far more double and triple teamed than TJ Watt. TJ Watt has far more people on his line to help him when it comes with I had that guy's name before, but whoever that guy in the middle is with the beard. And then on the opposite of him, he had Bud Dupree, I think. So, it's not like he was insulted by it.
Yeah.
But Aaron Donald, by far, having that interior alignment and having almost identical numbers to TJ Watt.
Well, and the fact that he's playing an interior defensive tackle position and putting up defensive end numbers is ridiculous.
It is. He's a monster, and that's his, I think, third defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
Man, people are sending me pictures of crawfish, and I'm actually really jealous. I want some crawfish. So from there, we'll go to offensive rookie of the year.
Yeah.
Which had it was Justin Herbert. Is it Justin Jefferson or
for Minnesota?
Yeah,
Justin Jefferson.
Okay, so you had those two, and Herbert had 41 votes. Jefferson had 9 votes.
Yeah,
I think we all saw that one coming. I think it had Burrow not been injured, he would have been second in the running over Jefferson. But
I didn't see it coming on draft day because I don't remember Justin Herbert being a huge name coming out of college.
No, but I'm just talking about once he. I mean, if you looked at our, some of our videos back in the day, we were calling that one. That one's not a surprise.
Yeah, well, once he got going, it was a heck of a year for Justin Herbert, and hopefully he'll just keep improving.
So I've got this tiny little notepad I'm trying to read off of, and I used initials. So for defensive rookie of the year, we have Chase Young had 42.5 votes.
Yep.
Jeremy Chin had 4.5 votes. Patrick Queen had 2 votes, and Anton Winfield Jr. had 1 vote. So
I thought Winfield Jr. was going to be a little higher on that list, but I'm not surprised that Chase Young was the overall winner.
No, especially if you use him on Madden, dude's awesome. He cuts everybody down. Any thoughts on that, Chad? Are you good?
I mean, Chase Young was pretty awesome. I mean, not really, man.
It's fine. I'm talking, and I just don't want to.
He's easily the best player down in Washington right now.
Watt definitely should have won. So it was right, Donald. Nah, Aaron Donald should have won, but TJ Watt was not insulted. He shouldn't have been insulted by it. I think I tweeted at TJ Watt and said, if you took that personally, how personally you're going to take it whenever JJ Watt goes to Buffalo and wins it next year? Yeah. So that brings us to the one that I thought was probably the dumbest decision they made, and possibly just crazy, but coach of the year. Kevin Stefanski, the anonymous wonder who no one knew who he was until he got into the playoffs. Kevin Stefanski got 25 of the votes. Sean McDermott got 7 votes. Brian Flores got 6. Ron Rivera got 4. Matt LaFleur got 3. Andy Reid got 3. And Sean Payton got 2. So the best game that the Browns played, obviously this doesn't have to do with the voting because it happened post-voting, was whenever he had to stay home was the best the Browns ever played. And again, he didn't know who he was. The Browns were 3rd in their division, 3-3 in the division, whereas Sean McDermott went 6-0 in the division, 13-3, best record for the Buffalo Bills. Scored the most franchise points ever for the Buffalo Bills, and he got 7 votes. That was the dumbest voting they did this time around.
Yeah.
I think there's actually one more dumber vote, but overall that was the dumbest.
I'm surprised Stefanski was so far ahead of everybody else. I mean, granted, he is the first good coach in Cleveland in a long time.
Well, I think I told you that I think that had Kitchens been back, they would have done the same thing. The talent was already there. And that goes to my argument about McDermott. Stefanski walked in and had the team built for him, ready to go. All he had to do was just say, go out there and play. Sean McDermott built this thing from scratch. I think there's 1 or 2 players that have been there still from prior to his coaching term. He built this team with Brandon Beane. This is a far bigger accomplishment than Stefanski walking in with an already built team and going 3-3 in his division.
It is a division.
LaFleur as first year or second year at Green Bay?
This is
second year. I mean, good year. I mean, him and Rodgers got on the same page. I agree. I think the Bills coaching was very supreme to what was – I don't know. I would have picked the Bills to win that division this year anyway. I thought Cam Newton might have had a little better year with the Patriots. I was wrong. But, man, I think the Browns are loaded with players. I mean, so for him that – I don't know.
I picked the Browns to win the division.
Listen, Arians, I know he's stacked with guys, but Arians is very I think he's kind of got a little bit of an alpha omega, but I know it was real big on the NFL to talk about all of his, coordinators being diversified. But for Arians to put it together in 1 year to everything, that's pretty special too. I mean, Arians should be on that list. If anything, Andy Reid, I love Andy Reid. I think he's by far, he's a top 3 coach in the league every year for several years, in my opinion. I said before he ever went to the KC Chiefs, I told my buddy who's a diehard Chiefs fan, I said, man, if we could ever get a guy like Andy Reid, because at that time we had Marty Schottenheimer, which yesterday Marty Schottenheimer died, I think, at the age of 87.
Yeah, that's a hell of a lot in the football community.
Yeah. Everybody liked Marty, man, but when Marty was ahead, dude, everybody hated it when he played Marty ball. But Marty was he was a class act guy for the league. But like I said, man, I think the Bills. What's your coach's name there, Patrick?
Sean McDermott.
McDermott has really done an awesome job, because sometimes a coach has only got 3 years with a team, 2 or 3 years to get them on board with what he wants to do, and then make it last. Because sometimes these coaches come in with this blowhard, like heavy motivation, heavy this, heavy that. I hate to say the name because I like Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh feels like one of those guys that his best teams is going to be at year 2, year 3, maybe 4, but then everybody starts saying, man, this Kool-Aid you've been feeding us for a while isn't working. We're not beating Ohio State, which Michigan just re-signed him again too. But John Harbaugh, daggone, man. I mean, he's there every year. I mean, there's some really good coaches in the league right now. I know.
Anyway, so then we got the assistant coach of the year. And that went to Brian Dable of the Buffalo Bills. So we actually won something. And I think it very well could have been Eric Bieniemy in that one.
Yeah.
Let's see
Maybe
the
not this year, last year.
Well, the votes went, Brian Dable got 28, Brandon Staley got 5.5, and he got a head coaching job. Eric Bieniemy got 5, Arthur Smith got 3.5, and he got a head coaching job. Todd Bowles got 2, and Bill Canahan got 1. Keith Butler got 1, Dennis Allen got 1, Leslie Frazier got 1, Jack Del Rio got 1, and Pep Hamilton got 1. But I think 2 of those got head coaching jobs, but Bieniemy and Dable did not, which I'm okay with. I'm sure you are too. You get Dable back, but I don't think you'll have him past next year. So I think we're all pretty in agreement with that. Brian Dable was good. Most points scored by Bills. Sorry. But now we get to the one that has the worst vote ever cast in the history of NFL honors. In the history of AP voting. Comeback Player of the Year. 49 votes for Alex Smith. 1 vote for Ben Roethlisberger.
Who voted for Ben Roethlisberger?
An idiot. Because, come on, this is the greatest football story of a generation.
Ever.
Alex Smith came back from and how he almost died. Can we not agree that we all love Alex Smith? We loved him so much.
Sequence.
Yes. We all can agree.
Yeah.
That Alex Smith is the best.
Apparently one guy can't.
Yeah, I don't know that whoever he is needs to be stripped of his voting rights, because he's probably the same one that voted for Stefanski. He probably voted for Patrick Mahomes, voted for Alvin Kamara, voted for Xavier Howard.
A lot of people voted for Stefanski. He won.
I know, but it's still a bad decision. It's a horrible decision. He probably voted for whoever Patrick Queen is, and he probably voted for Pep Hamilton. No. Sorry.
I am shocked that was not unanimous.
Oh. All right. Well, the only other thing we can talk about when it comes to the yearly awards, probably the most important yearly award that we have, if I can find it, and that's Fantasy Player of the Year.
I knew it.
Josh Allen.